Hello, hello. My name is Alex Taylor. I'm here with Luke Foster and Jacob Porath. We are a three-person team here at North Idaho College for their CS151 course under Professor Gabe Dela Cruz. We are doing a little showcase of uh, our project for the end of the semester, showing off a little bit of what we made. Jacob, why don't you kind of explain what we put together?
So this is RF Rancher, which is just a game project that's sort of if you combined a Tamagotchi game with something like Pokemon Go, where it uses the Wi-Fi networks around you to generate these random monsters that you can catch and take care of, essentially. That's the core gameplay that we
Yeah,
have.
absolutely. And sort of the idea with this was to instead of doing something like geolocation data, which is highly reliant on a strong GPS signal and very compromising in terms of like giving out the geolocation data for users, this could be possibly a more secure alternative and just like a different sort of data set altogether. Luke, can you show off a little bit about how the game actually works?
Absolutely. So the entire game was actually constructed primarily through Godot. We integrated a lot of the C++ modules that we had. So right now I will go ahead and fire up the game, show a little bit about what's happening here. So right here, now we're in the main game menu. You currently have access to an options menu on the sandwich. You also have access to the monster list, but since we have no monsters, it currently does nothing. You also have the spawn button. So when you click the spawn button, it'll sniff the Wi-Fi associated SSID. It'll generate a monster and its type based upon what it ultimately finds. So what you can do is you can then capture the monster that you can enter into the monster list to actually keep track of the various types of monsters that you've currently captured. And one of the main mechanics that we introduced for the game is actually maintaining a variety of statuses of the monsters, and that starts up top with health, down into happiness, and then down into hunger. Now, these are all manipulated by a tick function that runs in the background that will ultimately just decrement one of these attributes as time goes on. And over here, you have access to these functions that will actually replenish the hunger, the happiness, and that is one of the ways that you can ultimately just keep your monsters alive. And yeah,
So using the SSIDs affects more than just the type of monster, correct? Like there are other factors at play as well that can be changed depending on like what Wi-Fi network you're close to.
absolutely. Yeah. So one of the ways that is affected is that it ultimately picks from a list of the current SSIDs that you have. So let me actually bring that up. So right here, we actually have access to our scans folder. This right now is currently what our monster is being spawned off of, and this is the current router that I'm connected to, Netgear 91. And
So what you've done here is copying in the SSID profile from a different location, yeah?
yes,
And so then that will result in a different
so
monster? Oh yeah.
it will. So as of right now, what it happened is it actually changed the color. It is still an ice type of monster, but based upon some of the parameters that are associated with that specific SSID, will then pass us the hex value, which allows us to modulate the monster texture, ultimately allowing us to create monsters of any color or variety type. So one of the nice things about this program as well is that if we end up removing the sniff results, it'll then just flat out randomly generate regardless of an actual Wi-Fi connection. So we can just keep on spawning, and you'll see that we get different types of monsters with different colors, and yeah.
Very cool. I dig it. So going forward, what are some of the features that we y'all would like to see added to the program specifically?
I think I would have liked to add just more complex systems for hunger and happiness. Maybe giving them like a list of requirements that would um, be more gameplay rather than just pressing the buttons to replenish things. Just complicate those systems.
Makes sense. How about you, Luke?
On my end, I would definitely say further fleshing out a lot of the assets, but also integrating in a much more refined gameplay loop, specifically capture mini games as opposed to just clicking a capture button, but also adding in a little bit more functionality in regards to game saving and loading, and just adding a lot of extra polish to the final product.
That makes sense. So yeah, if y'all have seen this video and it's something that catches your fancy, there will be a link to the GitHub repository for our project down in the description. Feel free to check it out. I'll leave a comment. All our emails are in there, so if you wanted to send some comment or ask questions, feel free. So have a good summer, y'all. See you on the flip side.